Breaking news out of Lafayette.
They entered the theater to engage the shooter.
Terror in the theater.
I know a lot of us are horrified and shocked.
Who opened fire at the Grand and why?
How does the happiest place in the world produce somebody so full of, hate and evil?
9 News This Morning has live team coverage now.
Unfortunately, we do. Out of Lafayette at 5 o'clock, we are following that breaking news this morning. A community in shock. Our neighbors in shock after that deadly shooting. To kind of get you situated here, it's on Johnston Street at the Grand Theater just off of I-10 right here. That is where we join Matt Williams and Gerron Jordan at the scene. Guys.
Lauren, yeah, thank you. That's exactly where we're standing right now. Behind me, the theater where it all happened. And as you mentioned, heartbreak for our neighbors. This morning, Lafayette, indeed, the entire state of Louisiana, waking up to a new reality. We've joined the list, a growing list of communities touched by this kind of violence. Let's give you the recap of what happened. Last night, right here in this theater, the Grand 16, a showing of Trainwreck. Right about 7 o'clock that got started. Packed theater. Of course, it would be on a Thursday night, hot summer night in South Louisiana. You head indoors and find that cool theater. Everybody looking for such a good Thursday night evening. Well, about 10 minutes into that movie, 10, 15 minutes into that movie, everything changed. Lives were shattered. A man stood up and opened fire, indiscriminately opened fire. In the end, we now have 9 wounded and 3 people dead. That does include the gunman. 2 bodies, by the way, still in there right now as techs go through the scene. Let's bring in Gerron Jordan now, and actually State Trooper Brooks David as well. Gerron, I know we talk about heartbreak, and that's truly what we have out here, but where are we right now?
Yeah, where do we stand right now in terms of, obviously we have techs inside, kind of still combing this active crime scene. Can you take us through what's going inside the Grand right now?
Well, our bomb squad has cleared the Grand Theater. Now the CSI unit is in there. They're looking for evidence, any evidence that can piece this puzzle together to lead us to this shooter that did this horrible thing and let us know why he did this. Lead us to other evidence, maybe out away from here to his apartment or his home, and maybe comb that area, speak to family and friends, and see why he exactly did this. But as of right now, those bodies have been removed from the Grand Theater.
So that is an update. That is a bit of positive news as we kind of try to get back to some type of normal here in Lafayette. I know that there were some evacuations at a nearby apartment complex. Obviously, all those have been lifted, and really you guys are just focused on trying to figure out what's going on inside.
Our main focus right now is the evidence inside. And try to trace his steps back for the last couple of days or last couple of weeks and see exactly what led him to doing this.
And obviously you guys have identified this suspected gunman. You haven't released his identity yet, but we know he's a 58-year-old man. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is actually Lafayette Police's investigation. The governor and the colonel just threw all resources of state police behind Lafayette PD. So we're going to be here until the end and giving Lafayette PD any resource they need to help solve this.
Thank you so much for joining us, Master Trooper Brooks David with Louisiana State Police here this morning. Obviously, an unthinkable situation happening here last night, a Thursday night at the movie theaters. Should have been just a normal day at the theaters for family and friends, and turned into something with such tragedy here.
So many questions left, Gerron, and part of the heartbreaking story that goes along with this is the answers are never going to make sense. What answers we do get, and the alleged shooter, again, took his own life. The answers we get are never going to make sense. They're never going to be the ones we want to hear. It's never going to be exactly, it's not going to make sense for any of us. But that investigation continues. We're going to be out here, of course, all morning long, bringing you the very latest. A little bit later on, we are expecting about 6:30 here, a press conference to update us exactly where they are. We just got a little bit of a taste, but we'll be out here all morning long for you, Lauren.
Matt, Gerron, thank you guys so much. You know, the star in the film Trainwreck, Amy Schumer, tweeted in response to this shooting. She posted to Twitter last night, "My heart is broken, and all my thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Louisiana." I think we can all echo that. We will stay on top of this throughout 9 News this morning with extensive coverage online at WAFB.com. Diane.
The breaking news out of Lafayette.
The faces, the stares of, how did this happen here?
Dozens flee the Grand Theater after gunshot blasts.
And then we saw a lady with blood all over her leg.
Innocent people killed. Police confirm a lone shooter.
It makes us both furious and sad at the same time.
9 News This Morning has live team coverage now.
Just before 5:30, thanks for being with us. I'm Lauren Westbrook. We are following that breaking news out of Lafayette this morning. That is where we find a community in shock, and this is where it all happened. It's about 10 minutes away from the interstate there on Johnston Street at the Grand Theater in Lafayette. That is where we join our Williams and Gerron Jordan. They are live at the scene of this tragic shooting. Guys.
Lauren, good morning to you. I'm going to bring Gerron Jordan in here in just a moment. Let's reset that scene for you. We are in front of the Grand 16 here on Johnston Street in Lafayette, where this horrible, horrible tragedy unfolded about 7 o'clock last night. Say a packed theater, 100 people inside, seeing the new comedy, Trainwreck. About 15 to 20 minutes into that showing, the 58-year-old alleged gunman stood up, opened fire, randomly spraying bullets throughout the theater. We now have 9 injured, 3 dead. That includes the shooter. The aftermath of that included the bomb squad out here checking his car. And actually, I was just told about 10 minutes ago that also includes a hotel room about 5 minutes from here as well, down I-10 and University. The State Police bomb squad was there making sure nothing was, of any danger out there either. They are all over making sure they are up to date on the very latest on this. The unfortunate part of this is that gunman turned the gun on himself, so we may never know what his intentions were or why. Let's bring in Gerron Jordan right now for the very latest on this, and actually someone who knows a little bit more about this as well, Gerron.
Absolutely. This is Jalen Furnell. He says that he was inside of the theater when this happened, seeing a movie next to Trainwreck. You were seeing Southpaw right next to the theater where this shooting took place. Take us inside what happened just after 7 o'clock, and when you said that you heard those shots ring out.
Well, it was opening scene inside the theater. You hear 2 to 3 gunshots. After you hear those 2 to 3 gunshots, everyone, me, a little bit terrified, wasn't sure where the gunshots were coming from. So immediately you start to think, maybe I was just hearing stuff. About 10 to 15 seconds later, the sirens and everything starts to go off. Lights are flashing everywhere. Your heart sinks into your chest as you begin to think that, wow, I did hear gunshots. So as everyone's evacuating, people are running, trying to get to the exits. People are falling down, trying to get to the exit because everyone's scared. Once we get outside, the first thing you hear is sirens everywhere. Every corner that you look, you see a cop with a gun just trying to watch the whole building. And then there's another cop driving around the parking lot telling everyone to get to the front now, get to the front. So as we get to the front, you turn the corner and you see a female lying down on the ground with blood everywhere from her leg. She was shot. Immediately everyone starts to get scared because they don't know what happened, me included. And as you see that, is the first thing that pops in your mind is, well, where's that coming from? Did they shoot someone? Is there someone in the parking lot? Everybody's just trying to run to their cars and get in their cars because they don't know, they're just scared. And me, for one, I just didn't want to run through the parking lot because it's like exactly what I said. You don't know where it came from. So
sadly, this has become a scene far too common across this country in recent years and recent months. Did you ever think that something like this could happen right here in Lafayette?
Not at all. That's the last thing I thought would ever happen when they said, let's go to the movies.
That right there. Let's go to the movies. A Thursday night in South Louisiana. You would think you'd be able to do that. We appreciate your time with us this morning. We are glad that you are okay, and appreciate your time with us this morning. Thank you so much,
Jalen. Jalen Furnell inside the theater.
Gerron, he was talking about the fact that very quickly police officers were on the scene. That's because you had Lafayette PD in this parking lot, as they normally do, just kind of protected, just like in Baton Rouge. You'll see deputies and police in the parking lot of theaters just in case. Those are the ones who made that entry so quickly, and there's some thought that when that alleged shooter, when the accused shooter saw those officers, that's when he turned back around, turned the gun on himself. How many lives possibly saved by some very quick action?
Quick action. The officials telling us within 30 seconds to a minute, those officers with the Lafayette Police Department who were on their normal patrols out here at the movie theaters, inside the theater, and really helping to alleviate this situation, which could have been so much worse. Obviously such a tragic situation, but could have been just so much worse here.
It really could have been. Here's where we are right now, folks. Techs in there surveying, making sure they've got a handle on everything. We have gotten word now that all the bodies have been removed. We're going to be updating you very latest out here from the shooting in Lafayette. A changed city out here, Lauren.
A changed city, a state, and country because of this incident. Guys, thank you for those live reports. We, of course, will stay on top of this on 9 News this morning with extensive coverage online at WAFB.com. Welcome back. At 5:48, we do know that tragedy has a silver lining, bringing the state together. This social media campaign, Louisiana Strong, is showing solidarity for the victims of today's shooting. Actually, last night's witnesses, government officials, police, all expressing outrage and sadness at what unfolded in Lafayette. For more, we go to Greg Merriweather.
The first reaction of so many, how could this happen in, of all places, Lafayette? This is what that sounded like.
Scary scene here earlier and still is. And
our units responded immediately. They entered the theater to engage the shooter. A number of people have been wounded.
My daughter was in the same theater in the same row as the shooter. And so she came running home before I even heard sirens. That's how I learned about it.
It appears that the shooter has died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
We're starting to hear from some of the people who were actually inside that movie theater. Governor Jim.
Like a whole group of people, teenagers mainly, running out telling everybody to run for their life. And I just thought it was teenagers just playing like a little prank, you know. And then I see a whole nother bigger group coming out screaming the same thing. And then we saw a lady with blood all over her leg. I just grabbed my child and we just all ran.
I just ran and she was telling me go. The people she was with, they were telling me go. They were looking at me. Everyone was running and I was just sitting there. I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was a script. I didn't even understand.
You have the cops everywhere. I mean, the stuff we see on national news headlines was what was happening at the Grand on Johnston Street.
You're beginning to hear stories of heroism and self-sacrifice. A couple of teachers at a movie together. One of the teachers literally jumped on top of the other, may have saved her life.
Just incredible stories coming out of Lafayette. That was Greg Merriweather reporting. As this story develops throughout the day, you can follow us on all platforms, our website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're updating all of those accounts with the very latest information as soon as it comes in to WAFB. Of course, keep it here on 9 News This Morning for our live reports, and we will continue that through the big extra hour on WBXH from 7 to 8 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, you heard that witness say, you never think when you say let's go to the movies that anything like this could ever happen, and it has, right in our backyard in Lafayette. In fact, to get you situated here about 10 minutes away from the interstate on Johnston Street at the Grand Theater, a deadly shooting unfolded last night. 3 people dead. We join Matt Williams now live at the scene. He'll bring in our Gerron Jordan a little bit later. Matt, this is absolutely devastating.
Yeah, it truly is, Lauren. Good morning to you. And you just said it. It's a hot Thursday night in South Louisiana. Where do we go? It's at the movies. Well, of course, for so many people, that's turned into a life-changing trip to the movies. Let's reset it for you real quick and bring you the very latest as we know it this morning. About 7 o'clock last night in this theater right here, the Grand 16 in Lafayette on Johnston Street, about 100 people packed the theater for a brand new comedy out, Trainwreck. About 20 minutes into that movie, the 58-year-old gunman, white gunman, that's about all we're being told about him right now. Undoubtedly, police and law enforcement know his identity, just not being released yet. About 20 minutes into that showing, he stood up, started randomly spraying bullets all over the place. Where we are now is that has left 9 people injured and 3 people dead. That does include the gunman. The aftermath of that includes state police bomb squads on the scene, sweeping his vehicle to make sure there was nothing in there. Earlier this morning, we were told that a motel down by the interstate, actually I-10 and University, about 5 miles from here, state police bomb squad swept a room down there. Presumably that is where the alleged shooter had been staying. So they are spread out all over the place, making sure this investigation is covered. But again, that was the latest. That's where the bomb squad was this morning. That's not the only place the bomb squad was. Have a look. A state police bomb squad was called to the scene outside the Grand Theater after canines hit on a backpack and other items in the suspected gunman's car. Police evacuated the area and warned people nearby they would hear explosions.
Out of an abundance of precaution, we wanted to make sure that there were no devices. We did blow up a package, a suspicious package. No explosive devices were found.
Police say the shooter is a 58-year-old white man who acted alone Thursday night when he opened fire on moviegoers at random before turning his gun on himself. This young man was inside at the time.
He's just standing up, just shooting at the whole crowd for who knows what.
Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal visited some of the injured at a local hospital. Among them, 2 wounded teachers, he says, are heroes.
Despite being injured, the second teacher was able to pull a fire alarm and help to save other lives.
Officials say about 100 people were here to see the Amy Schumer comedy, Trainwreck. Following the shooting, Schumer tweeted, quote, "My heart is broken, and all my thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Louisiana." Gerron Jordan joining me now as well, and so many thoughts and prayers being sent to Lafayette, Louisiana's way, but still a long way to go here, Gerron.
Absolutely, and obviously we know that inside work is still going on. We know that the bodies at this hour have been taken out of the theater, but there are techs still on the scene. We do know that, as we heard in that package there, that the shooter, he's got up and started shooting 20 minutes into the movie. I mean, this was the very beginning of a movie, what should have been a fun, enjoyable night out at the theaters with family and friends. We caught up with one witness actually here at the scene right after that shooting happened about 9 hours ago. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We always see this type of event on TV, and we never think we're going to be in the same situation one day. So I was just living this kind of moment where we have to really show the best of you and, you know, get out of trouble.
And really, he said it there, you know, summed it up. We see this happen in other places all around the country. You never think that it can happen right here in our own backyard, but unfortunately it has. We do also know this morning that President Obama has been briefed on the shooting here. He is obviously on his way to Africa on a trip there, but he has been briefed aboard Air Force One by his Homeland Security Director, Lisa Monaco. He shared his thoughts and prayers with the families of those affected here in Lafayette. So obviously just a tragic situation that's still unfolding here. We do expect a news conference to be happening hopefully within the hour. Lafayette Police Department leading this investigation, obviously joined by the Louisiana State Police. We do know that Governor Jindal is in Lafayette as well, so we do expect to hear from those officials within the hour, Matt.
Very fluid, but of course we're going to be here for you. If that happens, we will bring it to you. Again, it still continues to unfold in Lafayette this morning, Lauren.
Matt, Gerron, thank you so much for that live report. We are staying on top of this throughout 9 News this morning. It is at 6:56. Welcome back. We're continuing to follow that breaking news out of Lafayette. 3 people dead, 9 people wounded after a shooting unfolded at a movie theater last night. Matt Williams is at the scene with the very latest. Matt, we're waiting on a press conference from what I understand.
Yeah, we sure are, alongside Gerron Jordan, and it was originally scheduled for 6:30, been pushed to about 7:15 now, Gerron.
Yeah, so absolutely, you definitely want to switch over to the Big Extra Hour, because we, of course, will be carrying that live as well as online at WAFB. But to just recap, we've been out here since overnight, really, and really tracking what happened here. We know that 12 people were shot, 9 injured, 3 people dead, including the gunman here at this shooting that happened inside the Grand Theater on Johnston Street in Lafayette. Just a sad, tragic story that we've seen in too many communities over the past months and really a couple of years, and now it's happening in our own backyard right here in Lafayette.
Here's what we expect to happen during the press conference. We're expecting, of course, to get the identity of the shooter. We're learning a little bit more about him in the last few hours. We're told he's transient, been in the area only since June, early last month. Actually, the motel room where the bomb squad was, where they swept his motel room, paid for that in cash. But again, very few details coming out now. We expect to learn more in the press conference. But right now, the picture, Gerron, being painted of just kind of a disturbed mind. And if there's a silver lining here, the good thing is isolated incident. This is not some active shooting going on. Of course, we have State Police Colonel Mike Edmondson joining us as we wait for the governor's press conference. You've been briefed. What's the latest?
Well, what we're waiting on is 7:15, and it's the Lafayette Police Department. They're in charge of the scene right now. We relinquished control back to the Lafayette Police Department as our bomb squad went through everything last night. That was around 1:30. So if you look at the severity of what happened here, almost 13 shots that were fired, 9 people injured, 3 people are deceased, including the shooter. I think that was the main message to the public, was that the situation is calm at this point based on what happened. Now we just got to find out what the motive was, and there's nothing leading us to that. We're going to hear that at 7:15 this morning from the chief. We're just trying to get that. A lot of moving parts. He was staying in a local hotel. Again, trying to tie on to what put him here in the middle of a neighborhood in Lafayette at a movie theater, decide to discharge his weapon into a movie theater.
And very quickly, just from a law enforcement point of view, I mean, we've seen, like I said, we've seen these incidents at communities all across the country. To have it here in Lafayette, in Louisiana, from your point of view as a law enforcement official, what is that? How do you process that?
I guess it puts us in the real world out there, that you've got to be prepared for anything. To sit there and think, okay, that happened in another part of the country, another part of the world, no way in Louisiana, no way in Lafayette. But it could happen here. Now we've got to be prepared for that. We've got to sit there and work and make sure that we're prepared. The public certainly They expect that and demand that.
They sure do. Colonel Mike Edmondson with State Police, thank you, sir. Guaranteed. Lauren, we're far from done here. Press conference is scheduled shortly.
Yes, guys, thank you for your coverage. Stay with us through CBS This Morning and switch to WBXH for the Big Extra Hour for continuing coverage.